don't have productivity 3 modules. So what would this look like? First of all, we need new power poles. That's also interesting in and of itself. Huh. Yes, sucks, but okay. What, am I disconnected or what? Let me see. Okay, so can anyone see my stream? If they can, oh, it does say 0 viewers on my view here, but it does say that stream is disconnected. Attempting to reconnect 2 minutes ago. I can see you. Good. So I'm streaming. Yeah, okay. So it was disconnected. Okay, can a moderator? Yes. Refresh if you don't see this live. Thank you. Missed all the calculations. Yes. And I missed the hype train. So, you know, we all miss something that we like. So anyway, Fabian, thank you for the 2 months. Very much appreciated. Missed the train though. All right, let's go through on. Yeah. So what I was looking at was, I did the calculations for this one. Or basically for the one we built here, and this one needs a train every. What was it? 42. No, here 52 seconds for just supporting one of these. So I was doing the same thing and saying, okay, what if instead of getting a train of liquid or molten copper coming in, then we are going to be calculating backwards to this and then saying how much iron or copper ore would come in, because there's also a huge productivity gain here. And then the answer was surprising that this build requires a copper ore train every 104 seconds, which is twice as rare, which really surprised me that this is sort of, in terms of train congestion, it's twice as, in terms of train capacity, it's twice as effective to not transport it as liquid. That means the only reason you'd want to transport it as liquid is if you want to have a liquid bus. So, yeah, so that means liquid trains are dead. And they're primarily also dead because you need to get a large quantity of calcite all the way out here, which means you need a calcite train, which is not great. So we are back here, and this is this makes sense. Then what I'm going to do is, this is on legendary stages, which is nice. Then you get 1 lane in is basically 4 lanes out. Nice. But then we're going to be downgrading it to the point before we go to... We've gone to Volcanus, but we have not gone to Gleba, not gone to Aquilo. So no productivity 3 modules, just productivity 1. And then we look at this again. And... okay. These. Now that also means that we are capped at... yeah. But what if you directly want to make copper wire from liquid? Isn't it much better? No, not much better. Not really. Because this one actually has 2 steps. It is better, yes, but it's not much better. Right, so... because you get more productivity here. But of course, if you want a bit copper, but then again, copper, you don't want to transport copper wire on belts. That sucks. So. If you make direct insertion, I would recommend using this recipe. But if you want it on a bus anyway, put it on a liquid bus and then transform it into this. But I don't think that's worth it. Was that if I replaced the plate production on Navis with foundries too early, they stopped since I couldn't get enough calcite to Navis. Yes, that's also a big issue. Like this thing here, 4 calcite per second. So you gotta be having a calcite transport. Calcite shipment orbit, yeah, they don't generate that much. Over Navis, they just don't generate enough. It's much better to fly back and forth Navis, Volcanus, and then drop off. Navis, Volcanus, drop off. And if you're having a space casino doing that, or just a space collect, you might as well just harvest it on Volcanus and send it on a ship instead of sort of relying on a spaceship going back and forth to harvest it from asteroids. Because this has a pretty good capacity, rocket capacity, 10 stacks. That means that Volcanus must be ready to deliver rockets of calcite into space easily. Yes, that would be a condition here. Isn't it much better in terms of steel? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. I don't think that I can't see why that would change the calculations. So let's see if this works. This is produced 94 and we're using 500. And now there's a significant deficit here. I don't think I care about this. Because I would also imagine that as soon as we get... So now we have a deficit here of about 20%. If I do this, which was after Kleber, then we have a smaller deficit. So, yeah. Then it's a 10%. Not a 20% deficit. I don't think it's worth it to put an extra beacon here. Is it? It actually is. I think so. So I'm sort of designing back and forth which one is the better design. Something that is robust against both. Yeah. Yeah, seems about right. This is not much. This is not even 2 belts. It's reasonable to expect rocket infrastructure for calcite shipping if you're bringing the foundries in the first place. Yeah, that's a good point. Funny how this one is getting more output than that one. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, it's just probably just been stored up. And now it's... Yeah, now it's... Yeah, okay. So now they're even again. So they sort of used the part here. What? How much is this outbound? 85 is not really much, is it? I don't see much use before legendary. It would be too lazy to do it twice. I completely agree with the too lazy to do it twice. And that's why I want to do a design that is optimized for legendary. But then I take that and then I downgrade it to the first possible moment you can build it. And then I do the tweaks, such as an extra here. Which means that if I provide a design like this, then when you get to Legends, you just roll your upgrade plan over, and you don't have to do it twice. You just roll your upgrade planner, and then it is optimized for Legendary status. But it uses one more beacon than strictly necessary. That's not a problem when you're all legendarizing everything. So that's why that's my design principle. That first I design for Legendary, then I see if I can make some adaptations so it works well for initial, and then I can, for example, like power poles are also changed here, but these style power poles, they work fine when dealing with Legendary. Like they're not working. They're just a little redundant, because you could, if these are Legendary power poles, they would just use more than you need. But hey, whatever. So that's why that's my design idea. And then we can also see what it would look like if it was in what's it called? There, here, in rare quality. So this is now, yeah, this is the wrong update. Yeah. There's a surplus, and it produces not two full, more than one full belt, but less than two full belts. Rare productivity, oh yeah, they didn't update the rare quality productivity modules, yes. It doesn't do that. It does feel a little low. Try again. Yes, and 321. Get so little out of it before Legendary. I'm not sure it's worth the work before that. That's up to you. For a lot of people, the part from visiting volcanoes the first time to everything being Legendary could be 100 hours. Maybe you want a better production in the meantime, so you don't actually are relying on having coal on a belt all the time. Like, I can definitely see that this would warrant an upgrade. And if you just then know that, oh, okay, if I do this upgrade, I can always come back and just roll the upgrade planner over it one more time. Fit 3 beacons. Why do I want to fit 3 beacons vertically? Is that better? Now I'd have to go back to the normal one. Obviously it's better. Don't know why I would put that here, but yeah, it's better. Yeah, it doesn't give 120 quite, but it also has a deficit here, so it's not even getting it. How is this the same? That makes no sense. Oh, right, of course, because these are now still only affecting by 2. Yeah, so this doesn't work. This is the same as that one. You have to be closer to get it. But it doesn't matter now, it just gets a... I mean, yes, this is nice, but we still have a problem here. Then I'd have to sort of go all in on craziness here. Like, it's nice. I mean, maybe I like it because the numbers are so round. Exactly 40, exactly 200. Don't like the beacon setup though. No, it doesn't work. Power poles are still shitty here. I can't do 3 on this end because then it won't make a difference. But this looks great. Yeah, this is a really nice ratio. And of course this would be in the very beginning. Oh, that's... yeah. But it's then way over beacon for legendary. So this one would now be a full belt here and a full belt here. Yeah, the ratio is nice. It's also a nice sort of evenness here. I don't know if that's necessary, but like that one has to go, but then where is the power pole going to be? Like this is an obvious place for a power pole, but hold on, maybe instead of here, the right answer would actually be it was in here. Maybe this would actually make more sense to have it here. But it's also now overproducing. That's okay, but this looks better. That's still good. Ah. Now this is also an option. That this one could be here. It's still missing something though. Oh, that doesn't reach. I don't want to put it here. Whatever. Let's just look at this. 120. There's a small surplus. This is exactly the levels we want. Now the power poles are awful. Then we can do something like this, right? Let's kill all of this already. I mean, it's working. Oops. I really want to avoid all of these small power poles. Four belts of copper plates. When legendary status, yes, but not at this point. Right now it's 40 makes 120, so it's a factor 3 with this build, with productivity 2 modules. It changes, and when we get to this level, then it is less than a full belt provides more than 4 full belts. Absolutely, 3x. This is 3x, while the original is 1-to-1. So I think that the argument that, oh, it's not worth it, I mean, you give your copper a factor 3 longevity at the expense of a new build. The normal quality output is perfect, so then we just have to look at this. What if we upgrade it to legendary? Is it still good? I don't know if I want to have like this monstrosity on the output side, because it is going into like a balancer here, and it should be balanced going out, so I don't know. This one's also, it's a nice build. I think so. It is just way overscaled for legendary. Because look at how few modules we have here, and that still gives us everything we need. 5.5-ish. Oops. Yeah, 5.5-ish. I'll give you the 5.5-ish. 1 card set per second for 200% is a fair deal. Yeah, it's a very good deal. 28, yeah. Well, this have This have the starter base too. I think I used yours in the first round, except the recipes for power poles had changed by the time. Yes, but the new... I have a new hub that's insanely complicated. Um, but it does most of the stuff we want. Yeah. I get overwhelmed by this. Just remove the middle beacon. Yeah, but I don't think that... I want it to work without changes, so the worst case is that you're just gonna be like, yeah, okay, it's a little... You waste some beacons and legendary modules, which you can take out if you remember, or you can leave in if you forget. Hello, Randomax. Good evening. Yeah, I don't know. I like this. Let's have a look at it. This is going to be the same for iron, and steel will be different, I guess. Yeah. Are we settling on this one as the design for this build? I like it. I think I'll leave it until after the break, and then after the break we can come back and take a look at it, and then we'll replace the copper coal as well. Oh yeah, this one, of course. Broke. Because someone broke something and then everything broke. Funny how there is actually a demand on this base. I don't know why there's a demand. For ammo. Okay. Like here. These two. Oh, for green circuits. The green circuits are dead. The green circuits are dead because they go into the bad blue circuits. But I don't want to upgrade these things, right? This is the thing. Like everything here, you could upgrade it to something better. But at what stage would you do that? That's the problem. So that's I'd kind of like to see what the base would look like if we sort of upgraded everything to being like, oh yeah, it went from being red belts 30 outbound times 8 belts to being, assuming that these are now green belts fully stacked, so it's now almost 2000 or 1920 copper per second. Then what would this build look like? What would these builds look like? Like, would it make sense to change some of these builds? Like, obviously this is really, really bad, but is it worth changing? Because this is kind of how we are this is kind of how we're generating enough for launching rockets, which will still be launching rockets from Novice. Why are you playing in creative? Because I'm not playing, I'm designing. This is a workshop, this is not a playthrough. So that's it. That's why. Be back in 2 minutes. back. Oops. There. I don't like deleting this, but let's just do that. It's pretty simple. So we take this and we copy it up here, and then we test it in legendary form. And yeah. An in-game build-based legendary novice book would be sweet long-term for candidates in these space age planet, but having the ability to stay on novice with a blueprint book would be nice. Same way you made a good nuclear blueprint despite almost always facing them out for so long eventually. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. So what does it look like at legend at this status? So this is less than 2 fully stacked belts. Are there any problems with this? Like any stockpiling? It is producing way more than it needs to. So going from normal, it produces exactly 2 non-stacked belts, to rare quality, then it produces almost 2, I'm gonna say almost, yeah. Let's call it almost. Almost 2 fully stacked belts. If I did this, it might actually be there. No, but almost. If I put it in the middle, then yes. But I don't want to optimize it for rare quality. I think I want to optimize it for sort of the first expected time you build it, and then the final stage. And then if you look at this, it just becomes city numbers, but I can take these out and it'll still be plenty fine. I can even take this one out as well. I can take the sort of the ones in the middle out and it'll still be fine. And then it just goes crazy on these lists here. Like that technically works, but not great. Yeah. This one could almost certainly be just done with 2 power poles. I don't know what I did there. Redo classroom 4 entities. Maybe there's 4 entities. Let's see. Technically, yes. But then I'd have to have... That's really difficult to take 8 and put it into 6. So normal to legendary is 8x output. Yeah. Okay, so I think I could, or I could definitely, but I don't think I would win anything by doing that, because having 6 lanes out, I will have 2 of these built inside of a city block. So having 12 builds out, not going to be useful, but having 8 builds out is very useful, because lo and behold, that's exactly what I need here, right? And it's exactly what I need here. So yeah, I think this is it. I think we're happy with this design, and it's going to be the same design for the iron part, because it's going to be exactly the same recipe, but not for the steel. So let's do the steel here and figure out how that would be, or maybe even do Well, let's see. We're gonna do the same design pattern. Ooh, that's gonna be difficult because that depends on what level of steeliness we have. Yeah. What the hell happened? Oof, that's a lot. And this now consumes 350. Yeah, there's some weird numbers here. Oh, right. This was also, remember, we were supposed to be looking at this type of design here. There, so that's 4 and it's 200. So this is the same as steel. How much would you get out of this? That would be... yeah, it's 960s that I'd want to hit. And there is there's a huge deficit here, so we can't even make this. That's a big deficit. Two stack belts, 8 stack belts, that's on factor 8. I guess so. One is times 4 and the other one is times 2, so yes. I'm a little bit in doubt what I'm aiming for here, because it would be nice to get 4 belts out. I think if we can design something that gets us 4 belts out, that would be lovely. I think we'd have to do something like this. Ah, positive. Okay. It's 1000, okay. So this is enough, but I also have to remember this. What is the ratio? This steel productivity. That's a weird number of steel plate productivity I have here. No, that's 10 levels of steel plate productivity. That's not much, actually. 10 levels gives us plus 10, so that's why it's plus 250. I think we should just go... If it's legendary, then let's go max. Why not? That makes sense, right? This is the one we want. There we go. It's 960 that's corresponding to 4 full belts. So then the next question is, why the hell is this not 4 full belts then? What's the problem? This is blinking? It says it has enough. So there must be something that's a problem. Oh, 350. It's more than a full belt. Yeah, so that's one argument. Another argument could be we'd only really want one, so... What do we want? We could design it to be towards consuming a full belt inbound. If I say, hey, we're getting a full belt inbound, then I don't know. Is that an important factor? Not really. It's much more important to get, like... This is also like a little bit absurd numbers outbound. So I think I want to scale this down. Even though it was nice to have... This is still over a full belt. And now we have a deficit here. Okay, so I'm going to do it the other way around. What if... This one has 300% productivity. So I get... I imagine that I get a full bed in. Then I divide by 50 because that's what a recipe calls for. And then I multiply by the 500 that comes out. And then I multiply by 4 because that's the productivity gain. So that means 240 iron ore coming in becomes 960 liquid iron coming out. Does that make sense? No. Does not make sense. Well, yes it does. It's because it's just a factor 4. Yes. Because I'm literally dividing by 50 and multiplying by 50. Why am I dividing by 50? Oh, 500. There we go. That one. 9,600. Yes. That's why. So yeah, divided by 50 and multiplied by 500. I think we can figure that out. Then the next step is here. If we are... That's a little bit frantic. Could you just stop flickering? There we go. Divided by... No, that's not correct. Because this one only has 150 productivity. So redo this previous calculation. 240 divided by 50. 50. Multiply by 500. Yes, I know. Multiply by the productivity, that's 2.5. There we go. So it's 6,000. This one outputs 6,000 liquids. If it's a full build. Yes, that makes sense. Then we now do this one. Where we say the 6,000 I get in, I divide that by 30, that's one craft. That would give 1, and then we multiply it by 4. That means 800. So one full belt of iron in can at maximum give us 800 out. I wouldn't mind this just being around 480. Because then it would consume less than a belt, and then it would output 480. That would be outputting 2 belts here. I think I would like that. And that might be something as simple as just... This is not enough, but it's close. Let's completely redesign instead of relying too much on the old one. I'm pretty sure the answer to this is... Ta-da! Oh, it's too much. I can't really get anywhere, any numbers that are kind of good, so... And I'm liking this the most. Way overscaled, but I can't really do less than this. So, very nice. Let's have a look at this in if we scale it down. Oh, why is it not working? Oh, this one. Yeah. Is it a valid point to change one efficiency for speed? One speed for efficiency? No. And this one is using 25 megawatts of power, so nothing really critical. Let's scale this down. And now the other part that has to be scaled down is the steel productivity, because we're not going to have 1 million steel productivity. So let's have a look at what this one would give us. Well, there's a small deficit, but that's a small deficit. It doesn't even give us a full belt. I think we want this to give us a full belt, right? Oh, right, never mind. We're not going to do anything here. I would imagine we get level 5. Right, we can definitely count on having level 5. This is a very valuable research. No, we're not. Nope, it's not. Because this is before we actually get to... No, this is the wrong one. Haha, this one, yeah. This was cheap. This is what we get from Novice. So yeah, that's plastic. I was like... On the other hand, you can also sort of say, remember steel is awful to build before we get the productivity. So, like, this steel build is not great. This is making 7.5 per second. So if you go from a build that is, yeah, 50 iron plus 7.5 steel. Like, woo, 7.5 steel. It's amazing. Yeah. To going, oh, right, here's 35. I think that's fair. Oh, this one doesn't have productivity, so it's only on these ones, right? Does the purple science cost for steel research become a net negative to the improved productivity? What? At what point does purple science costs for steel research become net negative to the improved productivity? Never. Yeah, purple costs steel, but you're basically saying that the iron I need to put into the purple science in order to get 10% more productivity. When is that not worth it? I mean, you're producing millions of steel and this takes thousands of steel, so it's pretty easy to... You'll break even very, very quickly. Plus, what else are you going to use it for? It's one of the most valuable ones to get. So, yeah, so I think this is probably fine. It's a smaller build, but it checks out. Do get productivity from the steel smelters, even though you can't enter modules. Yeah, this does say productivity. Yeah. I'm wondering if I'm wasting the space here by not making it produce more. But on the other hand, if we have 2 of these builds, then I can't really see that we need more. Like, I think I would still do the same thing here, where I would have 1 steel and 1 iron inside each of these blocks. Because the iron one would initially produce 2 belts of iron. which means I get 2, 4, and 6, which is exactly what I had in the beginning, but then it would go from red to green. And then as we scale up, and then I'd also have in the beginning this one would be 35 steel, and it goes out how many? It's only one steel line we have, which is actually not much, so it actually doesn't need that much. It's actually weird that I chose to make only one steel line. It's probably because I realized that it's never gonna happen. So yeah, one steel line. Was that a mistake? That have to be something else that takes out. I think that would have to be the concrete. It's just that these three come from the same tile here, or the same block. So they kind of want to be next to each other. But then the steel, where would that like to be? Then the argument could be that the coal could be over here, so it would be bricks, concrete, stone, and coal. And then these two lines would be steel and steel because they're right next to the iron. That would make sense. And then the one that got orphaned would be the ammo belt. But the ammo belt can be thrown anywhere. Probably. Probably not anywhere, actually. Yeah, there is a squeeze. Yeah. Use 2 blocks for the boss for this reason, more adaptability. Yeah, but I think that gets really expensive in the beginning when you need to drag belts around. And it also just a lot of more space that you need to clear for biters. So it's a compromise how much space you want. And it's a lot of underground belts up and down just to drag things back and forth. And then if that was the case, then I would keep iron and copper on the edges and both sides just to make it. But I don't know. Like 2 steel would definitely be valuable, but I can't really figure out where I would put it. I guess you could also argue that why do I need to grab the... I'm holding shift to... Yep, that well done. That was the sticky keys. I'm holding shift because I want the map scroll to be faster. There's no reason, well, there's a reason, but there's not a lot of reason why I need to both insert ammo down here and up top. So having this belt also go down is not really necessary. That means from here it could just go up, and that means from here it could actually just take the stone belt because I don't need stone anymore. So I could say, yeah, this one goes up here, then the coal would go over to the steel location, and the steel would go over here and take these 2 spots. Shit, that was a surprise. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I like this. This is really decent. What else would we want to replace? We'd also want to replace this one as soon as we've been to Fulgora. Beautiful clean base. Yes, we spent a lot of time on making it nice and clean. So what would this look like? The first thing is we're not going to do that because that would require us to get molten copper in, and that's not happening. So it is... It's pretty close. Oh. Okay, so the other one was not close at all. It just hadn't generated. Yeah, that's just 2 full belts. Done. Oh, that's so silly. That is so silly. Huh. So you have a green circuit built. Yeah, but not one that requires, that comes in as copper, copper plates. So, don't think so. So I'm getting 500 outbound. And I divide that by... That would require 554.4 there. But then I multiply that by 500. Because that's only what I got. That means I only... This is not a full belt. This is 458 per second. So, not a full belt. No! Or not 2 full belts, as it is supposed to be. I don't know if this works. So here I would get... Yeah, so I'm basically only having 2 belts of green circuits here, which is insanely low for a starter base. It's actually interesting why I chose to do that. I would always have more later on. Oh, right, I know that. And that's because I don't have a later on here. Like, this is not intended to be working later on. So you can see the whole belt here is just replaced by these 3 engines here. That's not great. Well, it is great, but it's also a little confusing. Biolabs are restricted to novice. Biolabs is so that it's not completely useless plan besides bioregs. They should really do something about making it more useful. Yeah, but I don't think so. I think they're done. I wonder what the 45 people working at VOD, what the hell are they doing every day? Because it's not exactly like it's a bug-ridden game that is full of bugs. It's not exactly like they go like, all right, let's do automated testing because we've been neglecting that for the last 5 years. No, they're all good. Enjoying an easy paycheck. I mean, yes, that's Coverex, but I mean, the rest of the people, they must get up and do something. And I mean, I don't mean it disrespect. I mean it basically as a compliment because you can see some games where they go like, oh my god. Clearly, for example, Coffee Stain Studio, they must be really busy because they haven't been getting around to fixing the stupid close and save button dialogues, right? Yeah, Secret Factorio, Factorio DLC, Factorio 2 or Factorio DLC, yes. Not some silly MMO that Coverage wants. Who wants that? Seriously. That's like me playing Elden Ring. Who would want to watch me playing Elden Ring instead of me just building factories? Stick to your lane. Also goes for the game developers. Like, Red Hook Studios made Darkest Dungeon. It was a success, so they made Darkest Dungeon 2. Awesome. Makes sense. Yeah, big no for that. Exactly. Hello, kitty. Yeah. Yeah, you're not getting here. You're the hype kitty. So, I mean, this is not really useful for anything, is it? So what would it look like in lowest quality? It's a big discrepancy. Rebalance Space Casino and LDS, but redoing it every time you make a video. Yeah, that would. I hope not. See, this is problematic because this ratio is good. This ratio is bad. Couldn't you just build them as needed? Yeah, but that is as needed. But I want to go from having 2 times 30, so 60 per second, to having 480 per second. The funny thing is, this is 480 per second. But there might be a point in... Okay, so with me doing this, I'm sort of doing the main designs and skipping over some intermediate parts. Fair enough. But in a playthrough, the parts I skip over might be 20, 30 hours of gameplay. And in those 20, 30 hours of gameplay, a lot of people, myself included, would at some point look back on Novice and look at blue assemblers making red circuits and go like, I can't fucking look at this. There are not even any modules in there. Tear it down, right? That is a very reasonable thing to do. And at that point, you probably have green belts, so at least you have 60 per capacity. Then getting like the main circuit belts updated, where you just go like, okay, whatever. Clean it out, stamp it down, done. Now it's at least the right buildings, and I know I can come back and just draw the upgrade plan on top of it, and then it'll be fine. That's my intention. Yeah, builders needed. It's just like every single thing that needs green circuits would have to have a build included. No thanks. But I can see the point because, for example, this one requires some here and requires some green circuits. So it's basically like, do I bring copper in and green circuits, or do I bring copper and iron in and then make the green circuits and then make that? That's also, like, that is a legitimate question. I'm definitely not making plastic, but this could be an argument here. It could also theoretically be an argument up here. Is that going from a blue assembler to a green assembler? Green? You mean the yellow assembler? Runs at exactly the same crafting speed, so same excitement, but more in power. Yes. So. Yeah, this one would benefit from having more of a 1-to-1 ratio like this. Oops, like this. While this is completely skewed, so... Which one do we design for? Yeah, this is basically half of it that is only gonna get built there, so... This is pretty good ratio. So if we have the same number of beacons modules involving, then that's actually good. So let's make 14. That means I could, if I could get 4 of these, that would be nice. There you go. That would basically be a full belt. It's such a boring pattern. That's my problem. Like, this is super boring. Just desperately trying to make it more interesting. It's more interesting now. But also bad ratios. Oh, this is not awful. So this is not exactly a full belt, but pretty close. I wonder if this one could... Oh, it does reach. Okay, so... I can collapse this to get closer. Like this. But then I lose my ability to power this. Unless I... Doesn't matter. Oh, right, hold on. This could actually... Still not. But close. But it could be the other way then. I don't like this as much. No, neither do I. But there's also the argument that I just do this. Then I can just place them here, and it'll look neat-ish. It'll just be sort of... It's aesthetic at this point, but still. No, the Iron Underground's are not a max distance. But they have to overlap with this one. And this one, so... Could also maybe say, does it really need 2 of these? Yeah, I think they do. Let me check my notepad on inspectors in inserter speed. Stack bulk inserter normal is 30 per second, so 1 is not enough to transfer the 28 per second here. But this one has 37, so this one needs 2 inserters to make it. I don't know. I think this is fine. I mean, it doesn't really need more space than this. It is exactly over the 60 that you'd expect. There's a surplus. It's using even amounts of iron and copper, actually, more or less. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Why is the output not compressed? That's a good question. I don't know. Because it really should be. Like it just... This is half a belt. It's the output full thing. Because when it hits output full, it also stops inserting. It stops grabbing something, and that means it actually is... It goes output full, missing ingredient, working. See, it does an ingredient, item ingredient missing. That doesn't make a difference. Here's the other way around. Like, there's 12 plus. Because that's only when the production speed is matching. So this one is working all the time. Happy. But this one is going to be lacking a little bit here. So. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. That's actually just... I think it would be more important to have, like, let's look at this. It's... What happens is that when this one goes down to allow... There we go, 1. That's when it happens. Because it goes down and holds 1. And then there's... The other one's filling, and then there's a gap coming in. And it fills up, and then the remainder of the gap is like 3 wide, and then it puts 1 in, and then it swings back, and the gap moves on. I don't have anything that's limited. Oh, this one's still limited. How did that happen? There you go. I think it's more likely the last one that has to be. So this one will just sit here. For the very rare occasion when it needs to just top up a little bit. As long as this one goes down a little bit, that is when there would be an issue. And it does go down once in a while, so... But it goes down by 1 at a time. I don't need 3 on this one. I need 3 on the last one. Because this one is fast enough to put everything out. And this one should be filling out the gaps. Oh, there you go, 3. And then we get the problem. This swing here. Up, and then I got another one. So, yeah. This is as good as it gets. Fine. So in the beginning it would be 2 of these. Let's kill this one, because that's kind of not relevant. This is our design now. Yeah, hello kitty. Then I am going to upgrade it. And that'll of course be way absurd now. The easiest part would be now obviously this could produce way more. This could produce at least 1 more belt, but I don't know how I would easily get 4 output for these builds into 3. And also I wouldn't have room for it anyway, so. Why don't we use a liquid bus here? What is the upside of a liquid bus? Just tell me, because I don't, we covered it. Yeah. Liquid bus has infinite throughput. No, it doesn't. It has infinite throughput until you reach a size that is pipeline extend to 320. And then it has very far from infinite. Then it has how many pipes you want to put next to it, and then, or pumps you want to put next to it, times 3,000. And then I would have to build a copper build on every single location, and an iron build at every single location. Plus, the other side of it is that this is not a starter base, or this is literally a starter base. This is a base where my design criteria today is: we built Navis, we built it up, launched the rocket, went to Volcanus, lived happily there, moved on, started exploring the different planets, got new tech unlocked, and then at some point we go back and look at Navis and go like, I can't stand looking at blue assemblers. Can I just upgrade it? And then the point is that yes, delete, stamp down and upgrade, and the design that you stamp down is a design that when you then roll your upgrade planet to legendary, it works really well as well. So it's not about like designing the optimal bus base from scratch, because that would probably require involve liquids instead. This is about sort of the intermediates, but if you want to use Navis more, then you can also use these designs. Yeah, Navis turned into a space platform maker, pretty much exclusive. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, it still feels more than, yeah, it is, but that's not what we're designing for. Then, because the thing is, if you have this beautiful base and it works, and you've launched your first rocket, you went to Volcanus, you set up Volcanus, you unlock the foundry and the green belts, and you go like, oh, this is nice. Let me go back to Navis and just do a quick update. If you do this, then you get the copper going from one copper ore to one copper plate. Then you get, only thing you change is you delete this and you stamp down this build here. Then you get a factor 3 improvement. That's pretty valuable. But if you have to do the same thing, but you have to switch all these belts to liquid copper, and then all of these designs to now be creating copper on site, you're fucked. Like it's just not a good idea. Then it's not a half an hour job. Then it's basically tear down your entire base and start over, and that's not the intention. So that's why I don't do it, because the design criteria is how do we do a small amendment to the existing Navis base to make it a lot bit more effective. Not how do we redesign it from scratch so that it at the current tech level is the best that it can be. So yeah. Yes, if I unlocked everything and built a new base, I'd do liquid, but yes. But the thing is, if you unlock everything and build a new base, you wouldn't build it on Navis, would you? Well, you wouldn't. Exclamation point. You would build it on Volcanus because it's just better. But you might still want your Navis base to work a little bit better and not sort of be coal-reliant, and have it actually take advantage of the fact that we transition from red belts to green belts, and also when we get stack inserters, also get some benefit of this. And with that, stamp down these blueprints. Yeah, exactly. It's just making space platforms. Biolabs are still Navis exclusive. Yes, so what? That doesn't mean anything except that you bring your science to Navis. That doesn't mean that you have to build anything on Navis. The only thing you build on Navis is biter eggs, uranium, and the science. Not build, but consume the science. That's it. Anything else is better to do anywhere else. So basically, the only thing you do on Navis is the stuff that you can't do anywhere else. Okay. That is also one. So, because that's relying on biter eggs, and I don't want to transport them more than I need it. Yep. Yeah, so that's the reason. The same base from Bespoke Space Age that the old YouTube players. Nope, it's not. This city blocks are quarter size, so no, it's a much smaller base, much more compact. The module build looks scary. It's amazing. It was amazing until it broke. That's so funny. It actually doesn't like being broken, I guess. Huh. That's interesting. That I did not expect. Because we have kind of a lot of everything here. Oh, it's also... Oh, I actually fixed it in the blueprints because 300 is not a good number. Problem is, it probably can't unjam itself. Don't know if it can. Yeah, some of these take forever to delete. Just accumulating a lot of junk here. I don't know if this can fix itself. It's a lot of these. And this imbalance is because the biter eggs have hatched now because they were stuck on the belt. And because they hatched, then there's such an imbalance. See, we're very short on biter eggs. So everything that isn't biter eggs has jammed. Why did city block break? Did they break? I'm not aware of it. I think they work really well. This one is accruing. This is interesting. That might actually get in trouble. Yeah, I think need to be a little bit more specific about break. If you're saying, why did I change them? Then I'd happy to answer that. You're just too rich. Yeah, and don't know what to do with all the legendary modules. Yeah, this one is making insane amounts of legendary modules. It's really, really good design. All things considered. Hey, Bidrex. As soon as we get some Bidrex, they get consumed. We can see that there are fewer things that get picked up. It's a good YouTube video too. Thank you. It's funny when I made this YouTube video on Thursday, I thought it was a good design. It was advanced design. It was a good and all that stuff. And then it was just less popular than the Timberborn videos on either side. And I've also been looking on YouTube, and I don't know if any of you have followed my Timberborn series. Are there anyone else who are playing Timberborn, like, well? Because then you see, like, the real civil engineer has, like, 1 or maybe 2 videos by now. It's like, that's not really covering it, except, like, oh my god, look at this, awesome, and then onwards to the next game. Like, okay. And Blitz, I think, is also someone, many millions of subscribers, and also just makes a single video and then moves on. I'm playing vicariously through you. Thank you. But it's just, I'm just curious. Someone like Skystorm used to do a lot of good videos, good Timberborn videos, but hasn't produced anything in a long time. Who else could be like content creators for? I think someone like what is the auction not included guy called? He has a real name. He would make good content for Timberborn. Cedric? I don't know who that is. Oh, okay, cool. Let me just check. I've been looking at Timberborn and just kind of seeing a lot of my own videos coming up, which is always nice. Let me just click and not hope that it doesn't autoplay something. Yeah, that looks nice. But that's... What? Oh, started playing a long time ago. Okay, no. 3 weeks ago was episode 10. 2 weeks ago was episode 11. Episode 13 was 10 hours ago, and episode 13 was 9 hours ago. So 1 week of interval, and then suddenly like there's 1 day of interval. No, 1 hour of interval between 2 of them. Maybe that was a misrelease of the episode 13. Weird. But if it's like 1 release per week, then that's really hard to follow. Yeah, Francis John, yes. Yes. I think he would make great Timberborn videos as well. And now I've just been sort of staring at this one and going blind on this. That's not what I want to do. But I did some time ago. Oh, nice. I have a really sore throat, and I am afraid that if I continue yapping on, then I am going to lose my voice entirely. And I want to be able to recover so that I can stream again tomorrow. I don't know what has happened to me lately, but I got sick 3 weeks ago, and I haven't really recovered, and I've never felt like that before. I don't know if it's me getting old or it was a particularly nasty round of COVID, because I think it was COVID. Usually a normal cold you get over pretty fast. So, yeah. So, but since it's endemic, that's just the way it is. So I don't know. I need to also take care of myself. So I'm gonna wrap this one up here, and we will. Yeah, COVID time. Yeah, I've gone from between 0 and 1 naps to between 1 and 2 naps per day, which is not great either. well, I mean, it's great taking naps and it's great having the opportunity for it, but it doesn't feel great that I'm like, oh, maybe I should take a nap. It's like, seriously, I took a morning nap and now I want to take an afternoon nap. Like, fuck. So, yeah. Yeah, plates, steel, and green sockets are a nice achievement. Yeah, I think it'll actually be the plates part that will be a video, and then next time it'll be circuits on novice. Why don't you make red signs on novice to save on shipping since it's so cheap anyway? Because it's so cheap anyway. Shipping is ridiculously cheap. And why build anything on novice? Because suddenly you need to take capacity away from, like, science is something that's always consuming. So as soon as you're using some of your production for science, then it's always consuming. I don't want novice to be a place where it's always consuming, and if it's always consuming, I also want to make sure that it's working at the highest productivity that we can, like with productivity modules and quality. But I don't want to do that on novice because I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have the trains coming in, and I don't want to keep expanding out to find new places just to support a random red science, which is completely irrelevant when I can just go on here and just, well, I already have it somewhere down here. And it's free and it will never ever run out. So that's why. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Sorry I had to cut it a little bit short. It lasts 2 or 3 months. Don't say that. Yeah, but at least it's not permanent. I hope. So anyway, I need to get some rest for my voice, and then I'll be back tomorrow for some Captain of Industry. I hope some of you are a little excited about us playing Captain of Industry. There's been a lot of sort of, yeah, comments about why are you not? You should do that. So see you tomorrow. Good night. Take care and stay effective, everyone.